Hello, everyone. My name is David Indo, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of ID Comms. Welcome to Media Snack Meets, where we meet the individuals and organizations doing great work to inspire success and drive change within the global media and marketing industry. Because the best are short of time, our guests answer only 6 questions in 20 minutes. We get to learn what is behind their success, what it takes to make change in the industry, and importantly, what the rest of us can do and learn from that experience. I'm delighted that my guest for this episode is Sarah Armitage, Group International Media Director at LVMH, a world leader in the luxury industry.
Hi guys.
Hello gentlemen.
Where are you? There you are.
Yes.
Hello, Sarah. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us at Media Snack Meets today. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very flattered to be invited.
Not at all. We've been trying to schedule this for ages. I've been really looking forward to it. I think you're going to have a lot to say, a lot of interesting things to say. Okay, so you know the format, 6 questions. We're going to try and keep it to 20 minutes or less, and we're going to keep it nice and punchy. Good to go?
Okay, good. Yes, shoot.
So for LVMH, as the kind of global media leader, what do you do? And perhaps if you can share with us, what are you most proud of?
Oh, gosh, the first one is fine. Yes, so I, with my team, obviously, are in charge for the media investments at LVMH. Sort of very clear, the strategy remains very much in the maison. We have 76 maisons within the organization. What was originally a department which was really based on consolidation has really grown today. So obviously, consolidation is still very important. You know, if we actually put together the volume of 76 maisons, we can obviously develop much more value for the maison, not only in terms of cost, but also in terms of value. We're also responsible for finding the right partners for our maison, which is agencies, but it's also tech partners, to make sure that we actually get the best thought leadership in place with those partners. I would say that the third department that we have today within my team is really all about data and performance. We've seen that everything around data is really escalating at the moment. So we have a department which is very much dedicated to that, which works not only with the maison, but works in collaboration with both the IT and the digital departments to make sure that we bring value to the maison. And then lastly, it's about thought leadership. It's about how can we bring thought leadership to the group with regards to the best thinking that's actually happening within the media landscape today. So obviously we sit on boards such as the ANA, the WFA, the UDM in France, to make sure that we're also bringing to the party what's happening as well in the industry and what some of our colleagues are actually saying and thinking as well within other brands and in other sectors of activity. So that's what we do. That's what I do. That's what my team do. We have teams obviously in Paris working across Europe. We also have teams sitting in the US, and we have teams also sitting across Asia, including China, Japan, and Asia Pacific.
Brilliant. And you've been at LVMH in that role for a number of years.
Yes.
I'm just curious, how has, because you talked about the different elements that your function provides to the maison and to the business, and that you're obviously migrating now to the needs of the maison around data and technology and thought leadership. How have you seen that evolution over the time that you've provided that function, that leadership function to LVMH?
I think, as I said, I've been, my background is very much a media background. So I came from agencies in the UK and then agencies in France. Then I was working very much within one piece of business within LVMH, working on media strategy, communications. And then now in this particular role, I think, the role has been really quite organic. As consumers change, as investments change, we've also had to adapt to make sure that as new challenges come into the marketplace, that we're actually fit for purpose, and that we develop those new skill sets to make sure that we can continue to bring that competitive advantage. Whereas I would say probably 8 years ago, digital expenditure was actually quite small. It was mainly about consolidation, driving value through TV, print, and outdoor. We've had to adapt to make sure that we can continue to bring that advantage.
I love that. Thank you, Sarah. Question number 2.
Yes.
What is the best thing about working in media?
Honestly, I would say that it's the diversity and the challenges. You could probably say that's the worst thing as well. I think it depends from where you're actually coming and what your personality is. But I think today, and I would say this to anybody working in media, and I was just talking to one of our interns at the moment, I think we're seeing the industry moving at such an exponential pace that the intellectual challenges that this is bringing today are absolutely amazing. So I think, where media, and I'm sorry to say this, but it used to be at the end of the chain when I was actually working in media rights at the beginning, many, many years ago. Media is now very much at the forefront of the industry, because I think of the nature of the consumer being at the very center, and how media has a really sort of clear understanding of the consumer. I think that media is taking a much bigger role with regards to communication planning.
Yeah, I love that. And I completely echo that sentiment. I don't think it's ever been a more exciting time to be at media, to be within media. I mean, we talk about media being higher on the corporate agenda than it's ever been in the past. Yes. And the influence of media within progressive organizations such as yours to act as a very clear lever in delivering against a growth agenda brings with it kind of challenges, but the opportunities to succeed and the opportunities to illustrate how media can act as a real a driver and lever for business growth has never been more present than it is now.
No, I agree.
Very good. Okay, question number 3, and perhaps it's kind of linked to the previous question. What do you think is the biggest industry challenge that we face, or that you face?
I think I would probably say it's the same as the first one. I think it's the exponential pace of change. I think this is something that is a big challenge for everybody.
Yeah.
As a subset of that, and this is by no means exhaustive, I think, even talking to my colleagues as well across other industries, I think, organization is a big challenge today to make sure that we are fit for purpose. With regards to the way that we're actually sort of bringing value. And I think organization, not only internally within my team, but also with the Maison, but I think also the organization of our partners, how we actually organize to make sure that we can really bring value across the full chain, from awareness through to conversion and through offline and online, and the general digitalization of all media. I think the second one, and I think even though it's very important for luxury, it's not only important for luxury, it's how to balance long-term brand building and short-term performance. And I think, what we saw last year, where it was a little bit of let's say what we can, and there was a huge focus on performance marketing last year. I think now we're very, very conscious about the fact that we need to make sure that we get the balance right. Another subset of that, I think, is balancing global and local communication strategies. We've seen how China or the US are actually developing at a very different pace, but with a very, very different media landscape. How do we make sure that global brands maintain that global aura, but still have that local relevance, and that we actually manage to find the balance right in that place? And then I think, new projects that have emerged from last year is about developing the right approach to sustainability and diversity issues as well. So that's by no means exhaustive, but I think, what we saw last year in terms of change, I think it sort of really highlighted the need to address some of those topics.
Yeah, you've got a lot on your plate then. It's all good though, big opportunity.
Well, everybody, I think, we all have, I'm not saying we're going to crack everything at once, but I think, understanding the issues is already halfway to meeting the challenges.
Very good. Okay, question number 4. What is the best leadership advice that you've ever been given?
That's a really interesting one. I think probably the advice, I've probably forgotten a lot of it and probably remembered what I'm actually applying today. I think I would say, and I think we've seen this as well last year, I think, is having a credible vision in terms of where we need to go. And I think curiosity, but keeping on top of industry developments and translating that into a vision, I think is something which every member of a team needs. I think that's absolutely critical. And I believe personally, and it's something that I really appreciated when I was actually on the agency side in the UK, I had some really fantastic leaders and managers. I think the one quality that they had was empathy.
Yeah.
And I think empathy is something this year in particular, which has been absolutely critical. And I hope that this is going to be an even more recognized value from a management perspective in the years to come.
I love that. Very good. Question number 5. Moving away from media and your what is your personal passion outside of media?
Oh, okay. So, and this is not only due to lockdown, I would say cooking, to be honest with you. I think this is my therapy, I would probably say. And it's a bit of a strange one because obviously living in France, you know, at the beginning, a lot of my French friends were incredibly skeptical about the capabilities of an English woman in France to be able to actually be a good cook. But I think I've won them over.
Good.
Yeah. No. I spend, I think I've probably got the biggest selection of cookbooks in France. It's my bedtime reading. That sounds incredibly boring, but and I think, you know, I have to say as well that in France I'm incredibly lucky. You know, even in my street alone, we have a market and there's some incredible food stores. So, so that's my passion. That's my creative passion.
I thought you were going to say ballroom dancing. So I know that you're a bit
thank you. You're giving away a lot of my trade secrets. No, that was when I was much younger. Maybe I'll start again when I go into retirement.
Very good. Okay. And finally, your final question, your hopes for the year ahead, 6 months, 12 months ahead.
Okay. I would imagine that, like most people, the end to this COVID crisis, so that we can start to sort of create the next chapter serenely, because I think we've been very much on a stop-start for the last year and a half. And personally, to be able to travel again, I think, you know, not being able to, not just from a personal perspective, but not being able to visit the markets has been really frustrating. You know, if we want to remain relevant with regards to the roadmap, we need to be on the ground. You know, Zooms have been great, but really being in the market, understanding the pulse of what's happening, I think is absolutely essential. So I think, you know, for me and for my team as well, I think now it really is that face-to-face, that being able to sort of get together and the whole body language of being able to construct something is something which has been missing. And I really hope that we're going to get back to some kind of new normal very, very quickly.
So do I. I echo that thought. Sarah Armitage, thank you so much.
You're welcome, David. It's a pleasure. And I'll see you soon.
Who would you like to meet on future episodes? Please let us know in the comments below. Subscribe to our channel, where you will also find previous guests, including leading media executives from companies like P&G, L'Oreal, Mars, MasterCard, and many more. Plus some of the industry's most provocative thought leaders, such as Belinda Smith, Jerry Dakin, Professor Mark Ritson, Nadine Cart-McHugh, and Gary Vaynerchuk. You can also subscribe to get new episodes each week, and if you like this episode and think someone else would, then please do share it. Thanks so much for watching.